Well, we are live.
Yo, what's going on, everyone?
Let's give it a little taste so people can see that.
Can they hear us when the logo's going?
I think so. All right, so I'm gonna
Hi,
pause my
everyone.
upload.
Whoa. It's me, the spinning skull. Catch me if you can.
All right, so I paused my upload, so hopefully I'm not gonna be All right, that's done.
Hopefully you're not going to be. Yeah, I got you.
Lagging
Hello,
here.
everybody.
Let's see
And
who's in
welcome
our.
to Splintered Spirits.
Oh, let's go. We got one person in the chat.
I am John Santa from New York.
Hey guys, I'm Gary. I'm in LA. His uncle. We are here to discuss all things Splintered Spirits, our wonderful podcast about ghosts and the journey of what ghosts are. How do we prove it? What are spirits? What is John? How does he do what he does? I hope you've all listened and enjoyed the latest 2 and bonus drop. If you missed the live last time, episode 5 and 6, we had some fun, right? And we're moving into a little mini phase here. So 5 was kind of a recap on the first 4, sort of touching base, getting some more ghost stories, and it's kind of a sweet one. But 6 is where we start to really get into what's about to happen next. And I would love, and that's where we introduce Cathy Nadal. So, and we bring a medium into the fold and the whole point of that, for anybody who sort of missed the point of all that, is one thing Lloyd was saying was that we should bring a medium in, somebody reputable, to see if John was in fact interacting with spirits or versus a haunting versus just radio waves or an app creating its own thing. And with 6, I just wanted to meet this person first because, if she was totally full of shit, I'd be pretty good about spotting it. But then it started off a little like, I don't know what she's talking about, but then she really got specific in what she's talking about.
So let me. I got a couple questions for you.
Jump on in.
I got a couple questions for you. I'm curious because again, this episode was mainly you interacting with Cathy.
Yeah, I wanted to vet her first before I set her down with you.
So let's get your mindset about not just Cathy but mediums in general.
Sure.
How do you feel on that whole subject? What is your
Never done it before. I think it's total horseshit.
Okay. And so all right, so then when meeting Cathy, what was your first impression?
Well, it's funny. When at first, so she came highly recommended from Lloyd. And Lloyd is a guy, just for people who don't know, if you still don't know who Lloyd is, listen to episode 4. And I have dealt with him in TV shows and productions in the past, and he is known and well known and regarded in paranormal. And when we told him where we were, he's like, I have a great medium in the area. She's the real deal. She's legit. Okay. So I'm curious. When I met Cathy, I loved it. I was expecting somebody much older, and then it's like, because I just have this, when I hear like psychic medium in my head, I picture like a gypsy with a crystal ball and like something that's all like crazy. But, she is none of those things. She was actually, she's like a retired colonel or something, like in the, like really like crazy.
Yeah.
And a total metalhead rock star from the 80s, 90s.
Yep.
It's like, she's not what you'd picture, which is also kind of makes it great, right? In terms of meeting somebody new.
Yeah.
And then, we got into it. And I will say, just so everyone realizes, between the time that I called her and we set up the first call, the Zoom where she gave me a reading, a few days, and for everybody out there, other than Splintered Spirits, I really have no online presence. I eliminated Facebook 5 years ago. I'm not on that personally. I have an Instagram account, which is private. And no one's going to be able to really, unless you're some sort of crazy hacker, you're going to be able to get in and see what I got going on there. And so long story short, it's other than a LinkedIn profile which tells my work history, it's like I don't know where the personal information. I don't know where she would have got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where I was coming from. So it was like, okay, let's see where we go.
So
It's just like, let's hear what you have to say. I'm ready for it.
and what when she was, we're assuming everybody watched the episode 6. If you didn't, you can easily check it out. They're all up there now. Splintered Spirits everywhere. Podcasts are available. You can check it out. When she started making those connections to you about the accident
Yeah,
and being abroad, you're out of the country. And when she started saying these things, like what was it initially in your head? Like
that
what
was
were
the
you,
first thing. That was absolutely the first thing that I was taken aback.
okay.
Because it was not. Because in my, she's like, oh, there's a guy's she's talking about an old woman fixing her hair, and she kept saying it was related to my wife. So I was like, all right, well, this isn't about me. I don't know what to say. But there's a guy here who got a big personality, and he's trying to push his way through. It's like, okay. And when she said, he says you were out of the country when he passed on vacation, and it's like, and this happened this is like 10 years ago. Okay, so it's not like, so there's definitely no way you would know where I was. That was like, how do you know? I mean, that was like, okay,
I
now
didn't
I'm,
even know you were out of the country when it happened.
yeah. So now
Like I
I'm
didn't
leaning
even know
in.
you were out of the
That
country.
made me lean in, bro. That was like,
Yeah.
all right, now I got to lean in
Yeah.
and figure out what's up, because that is how. And honestly, in my head, all I'm really thinking is, how would she know that? How would she know that? How would she know that? Like I'm trying to run through everything I've ever posted or could possibly have posted about this, which is nothing. I've never
Which
posted I was away. You know what I mean? It's like I can't.
yeah.
So it's like that was my initial reaction. Like, how did she know this? How could she possibly know this? That was where
Yeah.
I was coming from.
It's not like it's not like what she was saying was broad.
No,
Like to say to somebody, hey, this person died and you were out of the country,
yeah,
not in another state, not in another town, not you were out of the country when this popped off.
yeah,
That's that's starting to narrow in
no,
more than she's starting to go for a smaller target, is what I'm saying, which is
yeah.
pretty crazy to start
And
off with.
then she said two things about the kids, which I don't think I put online. But I'll talk about it here, which is fine. But it was sort of like, she said, this guy's watching your kids, and he's like, one of the kids, he's watching him. He's in water a lot. He's in water, and it's like, my kid just started playing water polo. Literally just started. I had not posted and again, I'm thinking, how would they know that he
Yeah,
just started? I didn't post anything about water polo on my Instagram, and even if she could have hacked into it,
there's nothing.
I post nothing. And the other one was horses. Like your other kid's horses. My other kid goes to a school where they have horses and they ride. I mean, that was a big thing about her freshman year, where she goes to school. It's a riding program, in the barn, in the stable. And she described like a weather vane on the top of the barn, and I had my kid take a picture of it, and there was a weather vane right there. But then, I mean, which is wild, but I assume most barns have weather vanes on them, so it's hard to. But still, the horses thing is very specific to one of my kids, and the water was very specific to another kid, and I cannot figure. For the life of me, it's just
No.
she knew that. She knew it.
Yeah. So
She
then,
knew it.
obviously, because there's an episode 7
Yeah.
that's coming out, passed. She
Yes.
passed the test.
She passed. She passed. I was like, okay.
She passed the
I
skeptic
got to see
test.
what she says about that. Yeah, I'm not going to
Yeah.
go through this alone, bro. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if she's going to make me freak out, I want to see what she says about this guy
Yeah.
because he's the one surrounded by spirits all day. Let's see if, if I got a few floating around me, that's a different story. Let me see what she says
Yeah.
about him. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do this. Misery
So
loves
all right, so
company.
hold on. Let's dive into this real quick. We're gonna separate from
Yeah.
what happens in episode 7. We'll save it for episode 7.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. And you said a very interesting key thing there while you were joking around. You said I got some spirits floating around me. Now, let's say hypothetically spirits float, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they float. Okay.
Yeah.
This wasn't in person, everybody, mind you. What my uncle and Cathy, what when they interviewed, when Gary interviewed Cathy, it wasn't in person. It was done
Yep.
over the phone. Okay,
Yep. Oh, just
so
like this. We did it just like this.
my question is, how was Cathy able to pinpoint the particular person that we were talking about? Okay, was that person floating around you or floating around her? Now, here's
That's true.
here's
Well, she
here's where I
says,
like.
I want to point this out before you or finish. She was saying how she has to go into a meditative state
Yes,
before she does a reading.
yes, yeah.
But
She met.
that's a great question, dude. Was
Yeah,
she? Is it?
and,
Is it?
and
Did
I
she,
remember her doing the meditative state before. We went. We did the whole thing at the office at first.
right. Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's the question. Like, how was that happening? Now, through my research and my documentation, I've documented a very, very interesting phenomenon that I have labeled QDE. A lot of people in the chat might know it: quantum device entanglement, and that is most rudimentary as possible. Spirit particles here react with spirit particles where you are. What if that's not the case? What if it's not QDE, or this thing that's QDE is something much larger and greater, allowing somebody to connect with somebody, via a phone, right?
Yeah. I'm listening.
Hypothetically,
I'm listening.
it's a big possibility. So that would explain, okay, why that particular spirit was hanging around you and she was able to tap into it. But let's talk
Yeah.
about the other possibility that that spirit wasn't around you. This spirit was around her, feeding her this information. She said he was louder than the others.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
like, okay, like, where is she listening now? And that's the other thing too. Where is she tapping into? Is she tapping into, say, where you are, or is she tapping into, say, where she is? Now, here's another thing that I found very interesting.
Let's
When
hear it.
me and her were together, that particular spirit that came through for you didn't come through at all.
That's true. And I was
And and
online. I
and
was
yes,
on. I was there.
yeah, you were there. That spirit did not come through, which I thought was also very interesting. Because why would he come through just that one time and then not get, the opportunity to do it again, where not only one family member is there, but a second family member?
Well, why do you think? What do you think's that? I mean, she was focused on you for her.
She was focused on me. So, and the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because there's two blood connections
Yeah.
to one particular spirit. So maybe it's not even about like the blood, possibly, or he was there and there was just tons of other spirits around and she couldn't hear him through the rest of the spirits that are there, or the memories that are there, whatever you want to call them. See, this is the problem with all this. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
There's so many, and this is what where we have to think. And you're a very logical person, so I'd love to hear your input on this. We have to think logically about it. What is the most logical, probable answer to her abilities? How does her abilities work? We've already identified that there's something there. There's definitely something there. Either she is the most luckiest bullshit artist on the face of the planet, or there is something there, and there's no way you can bullshit what she did, because she didn't just do it to you, she did it to me as well. And everything that she spoke about, although she thought had to do with me personally in my past, It wasn't. It was my immediate present. She
Well,
was talking about
I
everything. She even pinpointed Eddie Boy, which is
there.
which is
Yes.
wild.
All right. Well, let's think of it. There's two things. Let's
Wild.
point out, which is if I think
Phenomenal.
about it from what you believe in magnetic fields,
Mm-hmm.
let's assume then what we're doing is, well, again, I'm over Zoom, but if she's tapping into something that's tapping into me
Okay.
versus tapping into something that's tapping into you when she's focused, maybe
Yeah.
what the ability is the ability to focus a magnetic field.
Maybe.
Was that? I
And
mean, I
those
don't know what that.
maybe
Do you
and
know what I'm
maybe
saying? Like,
maybe in the
and she does that for
particular spirit
herself.
particles.
When then she does that for herself when she meditates, and she's focusing on you somehow, so that it guides
Let me
that
ask you a
that
personal
funnel gets
question. Do you mind
created, right? I
if you
don't
don't
know.
want to answer this personal question? That's
Sure.
fine, and I promise it's relative. You don't have to get
Yeah.
too crazy either.
Uh-huh.
What was your reaction to his passing?
Oh man, it was well, it was shocking because of the
Right.
way it happened.
This is the way it happened, right?
Yeah. It's
Right.
just like for
I mean,
anybody, he
other
died
than
in a
the
car. He
obviously,
died in a
other than
car
the
wreck. It was a car
obviously,
accident.
other than the the normal feelings one gets when someone you love passes. Um, it was shocking. It was like
Yes.
and honestly, I think we both felt the same way about that. I mean, listen, we all know the person we're talking about was a badass. Okay, hands down, one of the toughest mother you will ever meet in your life, one of the kindest people you will ever meet in your life. But he's somebody you didn't with. You know what
That's
I'm
true.
saying? Really,
Yes.
nobody in their right mind would with this person. People still tell me to this day, oh, you remind, oh, I remind them so much of him, and blah blah
Well,
blah,
you
and
got the
this that.
personality. You have the personality for sure.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, he had a
that.
fucking personality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Charmer. He was
saying?
a charmer. Yeah, he was just
He
the charmer
was.
that.
Yeah.
But
It's
we
crazy.
also couldn't. I remember we couldn't go eat somewhere once because he's like, I can't go eat in there. I'm like, why? He's like, well, I punched that waiter out once. You can't. You can't. Great.
It's
Great.
great.
You know.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So it's
Ah,
yeah. It's that's true. I mean, it's
yeah.
so the big personality was very
Yeah. I was just curious. Maybe it had something to do because then there's the other side of it. Maybe it's me. I'm very like anti speaking to family when they pass. Like when I'm walking around the cemetery and I get near somebody who I know I'm related to, I will go up to the grave. A lot of people don't know this. Some of you do. I will go up to the grave, but I treat them like every other spirit. And the fucking funny thing is they treat me like every other person. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no difference.
Hmm.
Even if it's somebody I've never met, which I always found, very interesting. But yeah, no, I was just wondering if it was a
Dude, don't let me forget. You know what? I was checking out um what's his name's feed last night because I was up late. God, another influencer. He does, he's somebody who does what you do. Started after you and does it. We like him, Chris, right?
oh
That's his
yeah,
name,
Chris,
Chris.
yeah, Chris is cool people.
He said something about spirits that I wanted to. When you saying that about the graves, that I thought was really interesting, which is, you know, when you're at a grave and we're sitting there and is it like, oh, is this the spirit of the person in this grave? Or is it a spirit of somebody visiting
Which
someone they
that
they
happens
know
all
in
the
the
time.
grave?
That
Yeah,
happens
and
all the time.
I had never thought of
Yeah.
that in term, which was really
I've had times where I'm either going up to a headstone or around a headstone where a spirit that comes through is a family member, is an actual family member of that person. Like somebody who's looking for that person or is waiting for that person. A lot of the times, especially if I'm cleaning children's graves, family will come forward. And it's not like the child thanking me, it's the family thanking me, saying, John, thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's an
It's
interesting
crazy.
sort of.
Yeah, no, it's true. Listen, the basic data is there. And that's why I always tell people, if you watch other people's live streams, think about what we talk about here and what I talk about on my live stream on TikTok. Apply it to other people's streams, you'll start to see the patterns. It's like, wait a minute, you're up at a headstone of a guy named Bill, and then all of a sudden, Rachel's coming through, and it's like, wait a minute, who the hell is Rachel? You'll come to find out, Rachel was the sister. Rachel was an older sister, and Rachel's
Mm,
not even buried there.
wow, that's cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a question for the chat. I mean, has anybody in the chat sat with a medium? Anybody
Oh,
ever
that's a
done
good
it?
one. That's a
I mean,
good one.
what? Tell me, tell us. What do you think? What do you think of mediums? What did you think of Cathy? She's going to be on for 2 more episodes. I hope you liked her. You're going to get a lot of her for a
Let's
bit, and she was
let's
great.
let's start with Cathy. What'd you guys
Yeah.
think of Cathy? Your first impression of seeing her on episode 6?
Don't everybody type at once.
Yeah, they're going.
Yeah,
Here
I
it
know.
comes.
Yeah, I know.
Here it comes.
I love it. I loved her. She seemed like an absolute badass. That's what Brie had to say.
Yeah, impressed with her credentials. Hale said, "Yeah, she definitely was a badass. Yeah, she was very down to earth too. Like she was very down to earth.
Yeah, she does. This is the other thing I liked about Cathy, just to point out. She does this Forever. Is it Forever Family?
I
The
think.
Forever Family Foundation that certified her and does it. It's a nonprofit,
Yeah,
and their whole thing is to help grieving, family members.
yeah.
So it's not like she goes out and she's trying. I'm sure she does do this for money when she does,
Yeah,
but when she does
not
things
that.
for that,
Yeah,
she's not making money off that, and that's the certification process of that, which I thought was like there's something it's not sleazy in any weird
it's
way,
not.
right?
Nowhere near.
Right. My first impression was here we go, and then when she hit on the personal stuff, it was right. I was impressed. Yeah, me too. Me too, Karina. That's exactly what I felt. Right.
I want you guys to pay attention too when you guys watch episode 6. Yes,
Yeah.
this was 6. Yes. So 7. Pay attention to how she is in 7, and then how she is in 8,
Well,
because and
yeah.
I was a little impressed with her, not just because of what she was pinpointing, because she already had me sold. Even though she was saying, she ends up saying, "Oh, this is stuff from your childhood." She was speaking about stuff that I deal with and I document. That's what she was actually speaking about. Makes sense that she would say childhood. It's not. This isn't an exact science, but she had me on that. When she goes into the fireplace room, is when you see her. She becomes a lot more animated when describing things in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And look her up,
yeah,
guys. I mean, she's written a couple books. If you really are into her, show her support. You can find her online at Catwitch NYC
yeah.
on Insta, and she has a couple books on Amazon. You can find her last name is it's Cathy Nadal, Nadal. We like her. We're
Yeah,
fans.
yeah.
It's crazy.
And she and there's a little extra treat, little action happens in there too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's in episode 8.
Get your head out of the gutter. That's not what we mean by action.
Yeah.
Yep.
That episode's a great one, man. We get a lot of fun stuff. I mean, Edward doesn't disappoint.
No. No.
He does not
No.
disappoint.
That's another reason why Edward hates me.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's a showman. He's a showman, dude. He knows how to do it.
He's
for
definitely
sure.
Listen, I always say this about Edward. Edward is a lot of things, but he is cunning and he is smart. I'll never take that away from him, ever. He is cunning and he is smart. Other than that, I have a lot of bad things to say about Edward that will just I don't feel like getting into a bad mood about it. I give credit where credit is due,
Right.
But he is.
Right.
He is. He when it comes to spirits, like you don't see spirits on his level, that intelligence on his level. You don't see it.
No.
It's the next time we see something like that is with Ann Purdy. Have you ever watched any of those on TikTok?
I don't know if I have seen Ann Purdy. Is this a
And
buck out or is this a cemetery?
no, this is a pre-war burial ground, and it's just
Oh
it's got a
wow.
bunch of fieldstone
Which war?
graves.
Which war are we talking about?
Revolutionary War, yeah.
It's a
And the, she died in 1826 or 7. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think I am. She died in, yeah, and she's very much the same way as far as intelligent, and she's aware of her surroundings. She's aware of what's going on with me. And the chat, she actually, there was one time when her frequency was off and she couldn't speak to me. There was a division there. She made note of that division and then started addressing the chat instead of me, which was wild. So she's another one like Edward in that regard. Very strong, very intelligent. You know.
Jesus. She always. Someone
Cool,
says
yeah.
she always sticks up for you. I assume this person Maxine's referring to Anne.
And
Anne
yep,
defends you.
big time, big time. There's a lot of spirits there that don't like me because of circumstances that happen. This place is the only place that I've documented so far where it's affected other people in that vicinity that are alive and have nothing to do with the paranormal. So this is the place where people see shadows and get harassed by things and whatnot, and they're just normal people walking their dog or hanging out and things like that. Because where the pre-war burial ground is, there's a whole like dog path walkway near it.
Oh,
It
okay.
follows Beaver Creek, which bleeds into the Byron.
So it's like people walk their dogs around there
Yeah.
through cemeteries and stuff.
Yeah, well, they don't. So they stay out. They follow the paths outside the cemetery. They never go in.
I was gonna say, like it seems weird if dogs were pooping on graves, or
Yeah.
that seems like an odd thing. Do you ever look at astrology, John? Do you ever make
Dude,
any connections
dude,
between the stars and what's going on?
no. I was talking about that today. Everyone's excited for the blood moon tonight, and I'm like, listen, I'm doing this for you. Like I'm taking them to buck out tonight for the blood moon. The moon cycles mean absolutely nothing. I did track them for a while, and I started noticing a pattern with the new moon that like a lot of like my awesome conversations were happening the day of or the night of the new moon, and then all of a sudden once more data came in that just completely crumbled, and then I realized it was just completely randomized. Like the moon phases have nothing to do with spirits. People don't like to hear shit like that. It really crushes a lot of things when you think about it logically. But astrology, dude, astrology is so messed up. If we actually went by the stars have changed since astrology came about. A new
Hmm.
constellation has moved in. Like it's like
What's
it's
it called?
all Ophelius, Orphisos, something like that.
Orifice?
Orifice. I want to call it Orifice, to be honest with you. I want to call it Orifice, but I can't pronounce the name of it. Maybe somebody in the
So,
chat will say it and you'll say it right.
right.
But it's
You know,
no, it's just
so there's no connection to stars. You know what's funny? So a lot of people, like as predicted, right? People want to talk to their grandma and stuff like that. But like, I think about, look, when it comes to my brother, he was and always was that person.
yeah.
Now, speaking to a grandma, now you don't know which grandma you're gonna get, and
It's
it's
true.
like, what if you get a grandma that was like during her hoe years, because hoes become grandmas too, yo.
That's what I'd be
And it's like,
saying.
could you
That's
imagine? It's like, oh, I want to see my sweet little grandmother, but now she's passed. She's like, you know what? I'm working spirits, and it's like, it's, hey grandma, it's me. It's, let's have a talk, and she's like,
a
bitch,
few minutes.
yeah, it's, what are you? You don't know what grandma you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
think
mean?
think about it like this, right? What if you catch a grandma, right? What if you catch
Yeah,
somebody's grandmother, okay?
yeah.
And it's like, they're 19, 20 and they're not, 80.
Yeah. They called them the Roaring 20s for a reason.
Yeah,
She
for
was out there
real.
she was out there like blowing Al Capone or something.
Yeah, for real. You know,
It's like,
like I always
here's a
say it.
side of the story I didn't know.
Yeah. Didn't
I
need to
don't
know any
know.
of it, but now we do.
Right. You know, and she might be a freewheeling spirit, like telling you the truth about what she really thinks of you.
Dude. Or she doesn't even know who you are. And she's
Right.
like, hey, come here.
Right.
I can take my teeth out. You
Oh my
know?
God. Exactly. Right. It'd be so crazy. You know.
So crazy. Yeah.
Um,
You can't put mercury in the microwave. It won't fit. You know?
yeah.
You can't. Yeah, she's living her best life. You mean President Meeting can pull without prior questions or leading. So that's another reason why I like Cathy too. Cathy doesn't lead. Cathy just speaks.
You know what? I didn't even notice that. And you're
She
absolutely right.
speaks.
She would
She
say
one
something.
one can almost argue she rambles at times.
Yeah. You're
It's
absolutely right.
wild. It's
She did
wild.
not leak. She would say, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, I'm seeing the other thing. Does any of this mean anything to you? And you're like, no. She's like, all right, well, this comes to me. Let's move on. And it's like, what about, there's this. I'm seeing this. Is seeing this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, I got an awesome imagination, and I can't even do that.
yeah,
You
man, she's
know, and
good.
I pretend
Since
I show
that's true.
people the tropes of it all the time. Like I could sit here and go, all right, everybody, I'm seeing a man. I'm seeing a man in a black t-shirt. He was always wearing that t-shirt. He loved that t-shirt. His name start with a T or is it an
Right.
R?
Right.
TR? Does that,
They
that's
start
the
with a
normal
Q.
way.
His name start right. It's right.
Yeah,
You
she
have to have a
doesn't.
weird name, and if someone
Yeah,
was able to pull Quincy out of their ass, then you're like,
yeah,
whoa.
right. Well, you made a stitch of one of my TikTok videos of that. Of them coming, them. Well, I forgot what the name was. Was it not Cliff? It was.
Oh, I saw that. It was like I know what you're talking about. It was like
Yeah.
Cash It. Not it was
Chaz Field. Chaz Field was the name,
yeah.
and they said the name like like it's I don't know, but that
Right.
reminded me of that. You know?
Right. Um, it's funny. I'm seeing the chats are a little slow, and I'm just getting all the jokes about grandmas having sex from the
Yeah.
chats. Um,
Living her best life, yeah. Living her best life.
all right. So wait, Tay's bringing up something here, right? There, she follows a medium, I think, on. Uh, she says there's one I follow on TikTok that pulls people randomly from the chat and asks questions. Just wants to confirm.
Tay, you're welcome here at Splintered Spirits. You're welcome to drop the name of whoever you're talking about. It's not like
Yeah, drop the name. I don't care.
yeah, you could drop the name. It's not like on TikTok, where
So
this is completely different. We're going to be doing that a lot here.
and then Tay, tell me when this person grabs someone randomly, are they right?
That's interesting too. I'm trying to see who it is. If I recognize who, I'll have some,
Right.
where I can be like, oh, or oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Because we like all this stuff. We like to see that connection with
yeah.
spirits. Um,
I give you my honest opinion too. I stay away
yeah.
from these things on TikTok,
Well,
but
because even I can see on your TikTok, people just jump in and it's like they try to do backhanded plugs, like,
oh,
"Ooh,
dude,
I love this. I agree because I'm also a psychic medium who sees the spirits,
yeah.
and you can find me at
Once I pointed that out, you saw that, right? You saw how
yeah.
that
I
works.
started noticing it.
Yeah.
Yes, most of the time. Let me pull their name. Wow, that's great. That's wild.
Yeah.
Some people are good at it. And I noticed, John, we know you don't do tarot card readings. We haven't ever tried any of that stuff, but I wonder what the magic of that is.
So we were
That
actually
nonsense.
talking about tarot card readings today because that's the big scam where people pretend to be me on TikTok. Like if you haven't done it yet, you can go on TikTok, search users, and search Santa Paranormal, and 50 accounts will come up, and
Some of them are
like it's
tarot
insane,
card
and they're all
readers.
pretending to be me doing tarot card readings.
They're doing it. They're live.
No,
I
they
was
don't
gonna
go
say,
live.
like, do they try to
They
like?
just message you. They'll message you,
Oh,
and they'll
I
try to
see.
get, here's my Cash App, honey. You know, the moon's
Huggable
aligning, and the
healer.
pillars of the ancient fires of Cyprus Hill are burning. You know, like the so huggable healer Hannah.
I'm
I
gonna write this
cannot
down.
say that I've heard that.
I'm gonna write it down so I
Hold on, let
remember.
me.
I'll look her up.
Yeah, I'm gonna. What's it called? Just real quick to see if I
Sure.
visually remember. So yeah, no, that's the way. I don't know. Tarot cards. Listen, we were talking about it. The whole point of tarot card reading back in the day is you would, cutting the deck, exchanging your energy. You're in front of the person. Now everybody and their mother does it, via online. Is there something there like QDE, going back to talking about Cathy and how she was able to connect with you? Is there some
Right.
sort of information highway that you could connect with through a device? I don't know. I have QDE that I was able to measure, but just because I was able to measure it, seeing the reaction with people, how they would act. I mean, like the whole thing with QDE. Did I ever explain any of that to you?
I posted a video of you try to explain it to me, but it's like,
Okay, listen. The reason why I realized that it exists is because what it did to my first years. My first year community streaming, it was insane. And I've said this a million times. I'll go on the record saying it. People got crazy. People you didn't even think were going to get crazy
I
got
like how you call
crazy.
them your first years. So these the
Yeah,
OGs? Is
yeah,
that what
because there's not
OGs
many
are?
of them left.
Right.
And a lot of people that watch me now are them under other accounts. Some troll me, some stick around and pretend to be others. I could care less, to be honest with you.
Right.
Thank you for being here. But, what it did to a
No
lot of them was,
offense.
yeah, no offense. What it did to a lot of them was insane. It made me go, yeah, I can't stream here anymore.
Wow.
It made me literally go, yeah, I can't stream here anymore. This place is nuts. It affects people. You know,
Right. That's what you said about the fireplace room, right?
yep.
It's interesting, man, how people can pull
Yeah,
that off. Um,
yeah.
be a good test. See if I. That'd be a good test if I bought a pack of tarot cards and just started reading people. You know.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what's funny? Here's another thing that's funny about Cathy. And then we didn't really touch on this, but if you read her books, you always hear people reading the tea leaves, and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
great about her is she reads coffee,
That's great.
right? And it's just it feels so New York and so Italian. It's like fantastic. It's like she reads coffee, like you get an espresso and then you drink it, and then she looks at the cup at what's left and gets a vibe of some kind,
Yeah.
which I think's hilarious.
I don't
Who
know, I
does
couldn't
that?
find that
I've never
person
heard anybody reading coffee. I
reading
love
coffee.
coffee. Coffee's my jam.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, dude, people read bones, coffee, all sorts of things. People will throw a bunch of shit on the ground and, be like, okay, this garbage said this, you know?
The should be garbage readers.
Garbage readers. I could do
Yeah.
it right, yo.
Yeah.
This is why everybody needs to seriously. I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to show you the art of bullshitism. Okay? I'm going to show everybody this. All right? We're doing it live here on Splintered Spirits. This
Yeah.
is the art of bullshitism. Are you ready?
Right.
This is what you got to watch out for. This is actually why I conduct my lives a certain way on TikTok.
Right.
The way when I deal with
Let's see it. Let's
spirits.
give a reading.
Okay.
What is the
Are
garbage?
you
Are you gonna
ready?
use Girl Scout cookies?
No, I'm going to
Smashed
use
up?
garbage. I
Okay.
am a garbage reader.
Let's read
Okay?
it.
Here we go.
You tell me something. Pick somebody in the chat. Give her a read.
Hold
Who you
on.
want to pick? Who wants a garbage
Ready?
reading?
Who
wants
wants
a
the
garbage
garbage
reading?
reading?
Who wants
Who
a
wants the
special?
garbage reading?
John's got skills. You guys know he can
I
talk to
got
spirits.
skills. Who
Who
wants
wants a
it?
garbage reading?
Pick one person in the chat for the garbage reading.
Renee. Yep. See Renee. Yeah. Renee. Here. How about Renee? She said read us first because she knew. So she's.
Oh, yeah,
That's the first
Renee?
one I read.
Okay.
Go with Renee.
I can only do this once. I only have enough juice for one reading,
Just
enough
give
garbage
Renee.
for one reading.
Yeah. Give Renee a
Okay?
reading. Renee
Here we go.
0101.
All right. Well, technically, because it is bullshit, I can do two readings.
All
I
right.
can do
Maybe you
one
get
for
two
general for the
maybe.
chat and one for Renee. Are you ready?
Oh, Karina. What about Karina? Oh, let's do Renee and Karina.
Oh, my God. Okay, listen to me very carefully, everybody. Listen to me very carefully. I can tell by the way this all fell. It fell in a triangle, a trinity. The farthest point here, where this piece of garbage fell, that's you right now. Okay, and you need to get to either point. Whichever point you can get to is your journey. Okay, but listen, it gets treacherous over here because we have some cellophane, and that cellophane represents obstacles that you can't see because it's clear. You see how clear it is.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Keep
and
going.
and, and this white stuff,
What is
this
that?
white stuff here,
Yeah.
you don't want to know what that is. I don't want to spoil it for you. All
Okay.
right,
Yes.
so you got to get to either point. Okay, whether it's a point you can't see but you know you'll be there, or the road
Yes.
less traveled. And I can tell it's the road less traveled because there's a little bit of ink spill on there.
Ink
You see
spill.
that?
What do you think that ink spill means?
Renee, that's for you. Oh, what's the ink spill mean?
Yeah.
That means you're just gonna die. When you fall into that road. You just
Oh no, don't go down the road. Look
don't
out for
go down that
cellophane.
road.
There's things you can't tell are blocking you and you have to push past it. Okay? That's what cellophane means. Perfect.
All
That was
right.
fantastic.
That's fantastic.
All right, John, we did get this week, somebody had a ghost story. You want to get into it and get with
I,
some evidence?
I'd love to.
All right, I'm gonna read. Let's jump in. I'm gonna read you this story. This comes from a Kimmy Wilder. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And here's what she wrote. This is what Kimmy wrote. Kimmy wrote, while working at a retail establishment late at night with only myself and the manager, merchandise would fall off the shelves. The store was closed, and the manager was usually in the office during this time, so nobody was around. First time, it was a huge pack of paper towels. I could dismiss this since it was something light and bulky on a shelf. The second time, it was dog food in a bag that was laying on the shelf. We also had shampoo bottles that would fall. Many times I would hear someone speaking, turn around, and no one would be there. The building was once a funeral home and then a furniture store before becoming a retail store. I had used a couple of apps. Now, this is where I'm going to show you. She sent me some pictures of the app. So you see, I don't know what, she doesn't tell me what the app is. She doesn't remember, but you take a look at this and you tell me what you think. The building was once a funeral home and then a furniture store, blah, blah, blah. I had used a couple of apps to see if anything would come through. Unfortunately, I didn't hear of anything substantial. I only had saved 2 pics from what I had found on June 17th, 2018. I don't even remember the name of the app. Now, let me show you these photos of these apps.
18 is probably necrophonic.
Okay, now it
If she's
shows.
going back to 2018.
Look at you, man. Ghost app expert, that's for sure.
Possibly.
All right, I'm going to share this from screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's the first screenshot. Hold on, give it a sec to pop up. All right, can you see that?
Oh, no, that's Ghost Radar.
So that looks like where she was standing, and it picked up a... Now, do we think this is horse shit or what?
I've never used the app.
Okay. Did you never
So
know anyone who had
I wouldn't
used
know.
Like,
This is back in 2018 where the technology was a little more primitive.
look at this.
It's a possibility. I mean, it's a possibility. I've never used the app. I mean, that anomaly could be anything technically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
what
was the second one?
Here's the other one. This just looks like it gives you a reading. Hold on. Pull it up.
Yeah, I think Ghost Radar does that. You could do a set when you do a reading. So
It tells you the magnetic strength, which doesn't look like there's anything.
Yeah.
Right? But it detects one energy with zero sort of business, the flux capacitor density. Stupid. These entities are evil. They are dangerous, powerful, and agitated. This feels like kind of horse shitty, no?
Yeah, definitely. Because how is it supposed to know? You know, how you tell we can't even identify these things yet. How are they supposed to know in the code that that's what that is? It's not like we have ample data on it. where they can go, okay, we have these measurements, we know that this is this. So if it picks it up, we're going to make sure we put it in the code for the app that we can say, hey, this thing might be evil. We don't
Right.
even, it's 2025 and we don't even have those measurements. You
I
know
would
what
have
I'm
liked,
saying?
yeah, I wish that she had taken some readings in a place like with nothing where nothing happened, just to
Yeah.
see if it would come up and go, look, there's a, you know,
Yeah, there's a difference. Now, I'm not doubting her when she says things were flying off shelves. I experience that all the time.
sure.
So,
I saw it.
um,
I
yeah,
saw it in one of those.
yeah,
Coming soon.
yeah, yeah. It does happen. Unfortunately, the apps at the time, yeah, it's Ghost Radar, I believe, and it's, I've never used it. I wouldn't trust it.
Well, Kimmy, if you're watching or if you check us out when we repost this, we're sort of on the fence. Things may have flown off the wall, whether or not it was some evil ghost.
I don't think there's a chance it wasn't even evil ghost. It could have been, you know, anything.
Right.
It could have been
It could have been
something
shitty
interacting.
shelving.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Imagine, to the spirit, there's something there and it's interacting with it. And at certain times, it knocks something off because of that. We can't say for real that it's the spirit goes, oh, I hate this fucking toilet paper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, dude, if it's not two-ply, I can see why a ghost would hate that toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
some of that toilet paper is like just unpleasant.
yeah. I want 2-ply. I want to be able to tear it nice. I want, the
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
Nothing less for the booty hole,
I want some I want some public bathroom toilet paper.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's the scratchy,
That's the worst.
you know?
All right, fam. What do we got?
Yeah.
What do we have? Any other questions for us on the first 6 episodes on
Yeah.
spirits? Does
Yeah, do
anybody
you guys have any
anything?
questions?
Yeah. What do you want to see? Is there anything you want us to do in upcoming episodes? Anybody you'd love for us to try to talk to?
Poor spirits doing
The
shopping.
floor is yours.
Yeah.
This is your time.
Your time to shine. It's that.
And while you're writing some questions, I want to remind everyone we have a very special live happening Monday,
Yeah.
right around this time. Now,
Yep.
this one, ladies, I don't know if you're into it. I will just give you a hint that it will be sports related,
And there's a reason for that.
but spirit related as well, and
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. So stay tuned for that. That's Monday, and then just keep watching, and please follow, like, rate, subscribe.
Oh,
Everybody...
Meow Speedy is Kimmy. Oh, okay, Speedy. I didn't know that. Yeah, so again, now that I know who sent that to you,
Okay.
definitely believe her that things were flying off her shelf.
Okay.
As far as that app that she was using at the time, she deleted it off her phone. The app was probably BS. I doubt the thing there that was evil. There could have been many reasons why things were flying off the shelf, but it makes sense. A funeral parlor. I mean, And then who's to say what drama fell down at the furniture store? Who knows what was going down in that furniture store when it was a furniture store?
Oh, look at this, John. Look, hold on. We'll go Brera. I'd love to see what Gary's able to do using Spirit apps if he's comfortable. Number one, Gary is very uncomfortable using Spirit apps because God forbid I start getting I don't want to be chased by ghosts. I don't want any ghost shit.
And what do I always say? You have to be. You can't worry about that. You got to literally go in. You can't have that mentality. It's smart. I wish more people were like that instead of, because dude, I get people that go, I use this and I should have listened to John, and they come in the chat and I'm like, why didn't you?
Yeah. Now we
Why
did use
didn't you?
one. We do have an episode coming up with John and I where I turn it on my phone and we're together.
We're together. Yeah.
And I
yeah,
turned it on once in my car. There's a quick video on, I think I dropped it on socials where I turned it on once and I quickly shut it off. It was pretty quiet, but of course it said one thing that I didn't appreciate, that answered my question in a weird, I was like, nope, no, thank you. No,
Well,
thank you. And I don't want to. Here's the thing, man. I don't want to know if my house is haunted. I don't want to know it. I don't. I don't want to like walk around.
listen,
No, my house.
that's what people consider opening a door. Like my theory is everywhere is haunted. There's spirits everywhere. But once you do that, once you try to communicate with them, you're literally opening that door that people speak about. So it's best to be like, yeah, I don't want fucking nothing to do with this.
And here's the other thing. But it's like, here's the thing. It's less about. It's. I'll make no mistake. It's not about fear. It's about being aggravated. I just want to be clear on that. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm not afraid that I'm going to be like. I just don't want to be annoyed by ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night. I don't want to watch a TV show and have this be like. I'm not like afraid of being possessed or anything. Please, I'm not worried about it. I know I'm not going to let that. Or it's just not.
Yeah,
I just don't want to be aggravated. I don't want to be. I don't want my kids waking up. I don't want anybody giving me a hassle.
Well, that's the problem, especially with family. You know,
Right.
like people always ask me, "Oh, is your family into this?" The only person in my family that is into this, that loves this, that if she might even be watching right now, is my daughter. Okay, that is it. My
Right.
my my little girl just literally is like me, like 100% with it, and she wants to do this when she gets older. And I'm like, no, you're gonna be a doctor. You know, you're gonna be a vet. You know,
Good.
you're going to stick to your plan. And if you want to speak to spirits on your off time, go for it. Begging
Right.
for me to come to the cemeteries with me. And I'm like, no. I'm like, and plus I don't want her on on
Right.
live anyway.
But Bree, you know what? I will do those apps one of these days. I will do it. I will go out there. I will be somewhere without John and do it, and it'll be hilarious. Because I'm sure it's not going to be. It'll be the shortest cemetery walk in history.
That'd
And if I
be
ever get
funny.
you out here, we'll go to some good cemeteries too. We'll do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd love that.
My eyes are green. I forgot.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what color my eyes were. They're green. But yes, not blue.
Yeah, what's it called? And you're coming out here soon too, so
Yeah. So we got to figure out. We'll figure out where to go, and maybe I'll
figure
go
out.
with you there.
Yeah.
But again, John will be with me, so it won't be like if I'm doing anything.
And it's different with people. Like I also theorize that when you have somebody with you, it switches up the magnetic fields, if you will,
Yeah.
and it's different, and it literally gets different.
Right.
So, and I've done this with groups of people. I went with all my moms to the cemetery once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got those videos around TikTok. The coolest thing that happened was there was a little girl named Mamie that we go when we visit when we go to the
Sure.
cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up saying, that she loves me. She was like, "I love you," and I was like, I was taken aback by it. I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
And it was crazy. And she rarely comes through. When she does, it's awesome, but she rarely comes through. Whether she's there and can't, or she's not there, or she just chooses not to, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about doing a
Yeah.
live at the abandoned site? Oh, interesting.
No abandoned side.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, no abandoned side. They're talking about where they throw the rocks and the bricks.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
well, I don't want to get hit by a brick.
That's what I'm saying. No, absolutely not.
You don't want to mess
Absolutely not.
this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, dude. That's
it's the
that,
money
that's
maker,
why
dude.
dude, that's why I stopped going in there, man. Dude, I got hit in the elbow the last time I was in there. I was like, I'm done. That's so close to my damn face. I
No,
was like, I'm
this
done. I'm
is
sorry. I love my
kidding me.
community. I'll go everywhere for them. But I've already gone in that place so many damn times. That was a wake up call for me. Like, yo, John, you don't need a brick to the face. So, done.
Unbelievable,
Yeah, I've
outrageous.
already documented it. Done.
Got it. All right. Well, look, dude, that's a solid hour. I want to
Yeah,
thank
cool.
everybody for joining us for this hour.
Yeah.
If you have not listened, I have a feeling everybody on here has listened to episodes all the way through 6. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. Go out and get a couple friends to listen to 1 through 6. We want to keep this going. We want to get those.
Share the podcast. Yeah.
We want to get this thing blowing up because I think we can
Yep.
have a lot of fun. We do have a lot more fun guests we're trying to plan. I want to talk to you about one as soon as I hang up.
Cool.
And then, but that's it, guys. Thank you once again for joining us this Thursday afternoon.
Thank you.
We'll see you again Monday around the same time. We'll post about it. We'll talk about it. That'll be a different experience and a fun experience.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna have no idea what's going on. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Johnny, stay on, everyone. Adios. We will talk to you soon.